Hi, this is Staci Greenberg of Interior and Design LLC, talking with Amy J. from Chasing Dreams.
Welcome to Chasing Dreams podcast with Amy J. Amy believes that realizing a life without regrets is achieved by taking chances, chasing your dreams, making moves, and overcoming your doubts. The Chasing Dreams podcast will help you overcome life's obstacles, believe in your potential, and inspire you to face your fears. And now here's the woman who is passionately pursuing her dreams, Amy J.
Hey Dream Chasers, this is Amy J, and you are listening to episode 112 of Chasing Dreams. Today I have a new friend for you guys, and I'm kind of excited because I don't think I've ever really talked about this area of Dream Chasers, the interior design side of things. So guys, I want you to welcome Staci Greenberg, the host of the Inside Outlookpodcast. As an interior designer, Staci has spent many years speaking with the various trades and people associated with building renovations and new construction. She has talked to everyone from architects and contractors to fabric manufacturers and furniture makers. The Inside Outlook is the show where she talks about all things interior and design with those very same people. And we had a conversation at MapCon, which is, I was so intrigued because she has over 35 years of experience in this area, and I've actually never met an interior designer except what I see on TV. So this was really cool for me. Staci, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're so welcome. You made it sound so spooky.
I did not. I mean, I went for intriguing.
I've been an interior designer before. Oh my God.
Well,
it's cute. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. We're not strange people. Yes, we are. But some of us are really good people, and we're a lot of fun to talk to. So
you're kind of like unicorns, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? You're a little bit hard to, I'm like, I see it on TV all the time, right? There's so many shows, but in person, maybe it's because I don't have any kind of, I haven't done any interior design or redecorating of my apartment or anything. But yeah, I mean, this is neat. It's awesome. Let me
for people who are not really involved in, I guess, my industry, it is a sort of a mystical, but it's so different than you have your vision of, say, acting, right?
True.
Theater,
True.
Making a movie, because you're not really involved with that. But if you really learn the background, the processes of it, the magic sort of goes away because it's work, It's no different than anybody else's industry. But yes, it's kind of sexy. It's kind of fancy. It's kind of whatever, if that's what you do. Not all of us do the fancy, sexy stuff.
But
Some of us do
But you enjoy it, right?
Yeah. I hate this phrase, truly, truly, what are you passionate about? But I am. I tried to walk away. I tried to do other things in my life. I just keep coming back to it. It's sort of in my blood. It's what I like. It's what I'm good at. I feel like I have a lot to give in it. So why fight that,
Well, how good was your effort to walk away?
No, there were years where it was bad. 2008 was horrible for a lot of us in my industry. My industry, architecture, interior design, building, we're the first ones to feel bad economy. So the pipelines start closing up a little bit, and then we're the last ones to come back,
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
So there have been years where I didn't do well. It was a real struggle. And, I'm not swimming in it now, but, it's always still a struggle. You're always chasing work, you chase your dreams. You're chasing work. And that in itself, it's like anybody who's running their own business. There's the doing of that industry, that work, and then there's the running of the business. It's actually a whole job to find clients, market, do all the things that have to do with running a business.
So have you always wanted to be an interior designer? Has that been a childhood dream, a college dream?
Yeah, it was a really weird, you want to hear that story? It's like goofy story.
I do.
I was always going to be an actress. I was going to be the next best thing but it was different. You got your 15 minutes of fame, but it wasn't as easy as it was back then, like it is now. You could stumble into something and you have absolutely no talent. You still can make it, I was struggling as to what to do. And in my family, we used to play a game called Dr. Doolittle. And if for the older folk, they know the original Dr. Doolittle was based on with Rex Harrison and Emma, somebody, I forget her last name. And it was on a ship and they were chasing the big great white snail. And this Emma stowed away on board Dr. Doolittle's ship, and he was going to go find the great white sea snail. And so they found her, and I'm just going through it fast. And they have these huge globe, and they spun the globe. They put a blindfold on her, and she stuck a hat pin in, and that's where they went to go search for the great sea snail. So my sister and I, whenever we were bored and looking for something to do, we'd say, let's play Dr. Doolittle. So we'd blindfold whoever the person was, and, we'd spin something or flip a book open, and, that's how we played it. So one day I complained to her, I'm not going to be doing theater. I can see I'm not going to be doing theater anymore. I don't know what to do with my life. We were talking about a lot of years ago. And she said, let's play Dr. Doolittle. So we pulled out the wine, and she was going to Parsons at the time.
Advanced Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah. And she pulled out her Parsons course selector. She was going to Parsons. So we had some wine, put the blindfold on, and, I slammed my hand down. That's the sound of my hand slamming. And it opened up to interior design. And she said, that's perfect for you. You're always helping people with their apartments and their decor and what have you. And so she said, just take a class, get juiced up, get interested in something. So I did. And I never looked back. I took to it like a duck to water. I just loved it. I loved the drawing. They didn't have drawing on computers in those days. It was all hand drawing. And I drafted, that's what we call drafting, for architects and designers for many years. I really loved it. I took it to it right away. So I never looked back. And the funny thing is, I realized I've always been in the visual arts anyway, all my life. My daughter is deaf, and I took a bunch of sign language classes as she began to lose her hearing more and more. And I realized I needed to communicate with her. That's a very visual language.
Yeah.
I've never steered from the path. That's what I'm saying. No matter what I've ever done in my life, I've always stayed on the visual arts path. I think it's a thing. It's in you,
I gotta say, I love that you use Dr. Doolittle's method to pick your path. And this is the thing I love. It's not just that it worked out because it was something you were passionate about.
It was an accident, honestly, but
yeah,
the minute it's kind of odd how that's what came open, because she was in textile design, and that's not something I think I was interested in. I could have been good at it. I don't know. But she said, that's perfect for you. And it's a true story. That's exactly how I picked my first class. And if she hadn't been going to Parsons, maybe this never would have happened. I don't know. But, everything happens for a reason. So, yeah, I don't know. And I just never looked back. And I began to work for other people. I did the apprentice years. Gosh, I don't know. I had my own company on and off for many years. I really got into, I subscribe to the notion of the design build approach. A lot of designers and architects that I know, what they'll do is they'll design in their studio and they just never apply it in the real world. So it's always heartbreaking when you put a design together and a client doesn't want to do it remotely close to what you designed because it's not realistic. I design things knowing full well what they're going to cost and how they're going to be built. That's more of a design build approach, because I think it saves a lot of steps. And it kind of, especially with these days, how we draw through the computer and software like AutoCAD, things like that, I think it just lends itself to that, but I've been doing it for too many years. I can't design another way.
So when you were initially, you were saying that this is the part I also find interesting. You didn't have the computer method when you first
started on the board,
right?
Big wood boards with big scale, straight edges. When I went to Parsons, I had a little mobile, carry guy. For years. I found just recently we moved and I found some of my old drawings. I was a good drafter. I had good drawings. It was an art. It's still an art, but
essentially, like if all the technology went down in the world, you could still do your job because you're familiar with that.
Yeah, well, that's true artistry and skilled people. I know a lot of architects who just doodle on the, it's true. This is a stereotype, but there's a reason. Good designers are always doodling. We're always doing that.
On napkins and stuff like that?
Yeah, anywhere. It shouldn't matter. I haven't really been doing that for a while. I kind of just go right to the computer, but it's a good designer can design a paper napkin, for God's sakes. It doesn't matter where they're designing and what they're designing. They design. That's how it works. Yeah.
So was it easy though? I mean, to go from a method that you were familiar with by hand, old school method, to learning the computer method? I mean, was that something you took classes for? Was it trial and error? Did you have to?
No, how that worked is I started a company with a number of people. It was actually the coolest thing I ever did. It was sort of like a commune. We had every kind of industry there. We had the mechanical engineer, we had the architect, we had the structural engineer, we had me, the interior designer. We were like sort of a one-stop shop. We call a turnkey approach. So we had everybody there. So if a client was putting and we did a lot of big facilities, big projects. So we could take care of it all. And the architect, Jimmy Monafort, he was fabulous. I have nothing but love for that man. He and I joined forces, and he hired a young man who had just finished AutoCAD in school. So it was still kind of new, it was still newfangled. So he hired him. So we were going to start the transition from drawing on the board, paper, to computer drawing. But, we knew it wouldn't happen overnight. So we took lessons from this kid at night. So we would do our thing during the daytime, and then he would stay and give us lessons. So we got to the point where it was happening for a couple of weeks. And I just said, it's now or never. If I don't commit myself to a project, I'm never going to do this. So I locked myself in my office for a while and took the next project we were working on, and I forced myself to only do it on the computer. And that's one way of jumping into the deep end. That's exactly how I did it. So I never looked back on that either. I kind of stopped doing hand drawings. And then, so the idea is everybody who we hired, we shared a drafting pool, drafters. Everybody we hired from then on in, we were looking for people who could draw on the computer. So we were transitioning, just like companies do now. People have been working on AutoCAD for years. Well, the new biggest thing is Revit. That's and 3D Max. And so now I see that a lot of these companies who really don't, they're transitioning to that. So now they only want Revit, whereas back in the day it was only AutoCAD. That was the big drawing program.
So is that something you do now? Like you're learning that as well? I mean, is that something?
I learned Revit already. I did. I'm not very proficient on it. I'm not quick. And I don't think that's the best use of my time because I'm a designer. I think if somebody really wants a whole project done in Revit, I can outsource that and freelance it out. And I can do some of it. But, I would never take a job that it can only be done in Revit because that would be scary for me. And it's not necessary. Also, what I do, a lot of Revit can be saved to an AutoCAD program. So I can take a Revit drawing and work in AutoCAD. I'm really good in AutoCAD. I can do things in AutoCAD that a lot of people don't do. I'll do like rendered. You know what an elevation is?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like a flat flat drawing. Mm-hmm. And I'll pull some objects out and sort of give it a perspective view. And I render those. They look almost as good as rendered, fully rendered rooms. And it saves, I can do those very quickly and save the client a lot of money because if I have to provide them a 3D rendering, it's going to cost them a lot more money. And sometimes I don't think it's necessary. I think,
The reason I'm asking about all these and the changes you're going through, it seems like your passion has been the design, the technology changing throughout isn't something that was going to deter you. It sounds like.
The technology is making it really harder to do my job. And what I mean by that is it's really more the approach. Did I say this to you at MapCon, how I feel about HGTV?
No.
Okay. So HGTV and that whole reality show, flipping houses, all that stuff, it's killing my industry because it's giving people a false understanding of the process of design, of building, of architecture. A lot of it's just false. It's not the way it goes. You cannot do a project in a weekend. It's not for a couple of hours. I watch some of these shows. I don't watch them regularly, but, I might be at my nail place and they have it on, and I sit there and I shake my head. It's terrible because it's not real. And actually, some of these they're bad builders. There's some bad reports that have come out of some of these. I won't name the shows, but, and so people who have integrity, they're doing work with quality work and with integrity. It's frustrating. It's like, the bad apples in the bunch kind of a thing. Yeah, HD, that's I consider that, I lump that in with technology because people have a false idea. And I'll give you a really good example of this. I have a client who hired me to do their house. So we're going to do it in stages. So right now we're focusing on the master bedroom and the dining room. Those two rooms are the more prevalent for various reasons I don't need to get into. So we're working on it, and I just got hired. And all of a sudden, late at night, I'm getting like emails with reams of like links to different furnitures. I didn't even start the job yet, really. And all I'm getting is, I like this chair, I like that. Okay, let me design the job first, and then let me show you what I have, my vision for you is. And I heard you, I'm clear about what you like, but, let's see what I present to you. I've never even gotten a chance to design. All she really wants me to do is approve her selections. That's in the end what they really want, because she can go online and buy it. So she buys this one chair, which I think is really cool. It's a really good looking chair, but it's not quality. And it's bad quality, and it's not appropriate for the room because the room needs a bigger, I'll use the word meatier chair. It needs something heavier, and what she picked out is very thin and slimline. It doesn't really fit in the room. Cool chair, like it, just not for that room. And she likes it. It's what we're going to end up using. She's the client. It's her house. But it's frustrating for me because I know that room needs something better. I'm not going to get to be my best interior design self. So I have to now make what she likes, which wasn't there before, by the way. Huh. So she didn't even give me a chance to go ahead and design. And that's what I'm seeing that more and more because there's so much available online. Everybody, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but everybody thinks they're a designer. Okay, then you don't need to hire me. That's my point. Why are you hiring me? Let me do my job for you. You hired me, and then see what vision I have, and then say, oh, I don't think I like that chair, But she discounts everything I show her because she's already countering it with 5 other chairs. If I'm just using chairs as the example, and it's just because they can do it because you have all. And she'll bring it up. She goes, "Well, I saw this on a show and I really liked that." I'm like, okay, that room is nothing like your room.
Could we equate this to like people who self-diagnose themselves?
Yeah.
Right? Because technology is there, WebMD is there, and it's like.
Yeah, maybe. And I can't get mad because it's their house and the internet's for everybody and you have a right to do it. But then don't hire me. Why are you hiring me? Or say to me, look, I'm a little scared of my choices. Can you just help me put this together? Okay, that's a different type of job.
Sure.
But that's, and I had that conversation with them. So yeah, I agree. We could equate it to that because it's just, I think she's a frustrated designer. And her husband, I think he agrees with me. So now I've got to play marriage counselor too. That's why I like my commercial jobs a little bit more because it's more of a business approach. And I love doing the hotels and the corporate buildings and restaurants and things like that. So there's a different agenda,
Well, so it sounds like HGTV is a little bit misleading in the sense,
misleading,
right? Because a job that they may cut and paste together 30 half hour, whatever, an hour show is actually something that truly should take weeks, months, something like that.
Process, like everything's a process. Okay. So I met with one of the original designers from Trading Spaces. It was one of the original reality shows.
One of the first ones, yeah.
You remember that with Paige? She was the cute little girl with the
I like Paige, yeah.
Yeah. So I met with one of the designers. I said, wow, that show must have been really great for your business. She goes, no, it was one of the worst things I ever did. I said, why? She said, because people would call up and want that $1,000 room for $1,000. And I knew right away what she meant. There's no way that room was $1,000. You had people that were donating to get their advertising on the show. You had interns that spent, I don't know, weeks, months, whatever, putting the stuff together. It just is not the same. I can't walk into a room and tell you we're going to do this, and this. And be be professional and give you good design. I can tell you right off the bat, a few things will hit me right away. I get a sense or I get a feel, for instance, this client I'm telling you about, they have 2-story dining room, gorgeous wall to floor to ceiling windows. It's a stunning room, but it's very architecturally heavy. It's got a lot of architectural details. You have to honor that. You have to at least be aware of it. I knew right away when I walked into that room, we were going to have taller chairs, heavier table. I don't know what it was, but I just knew right away that's not what she likes. So, we've got an issue because her dining room is going to be very off balance. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's a dining room. I'm just saying that's the room we were working on. It's anything. There's a thing that happens. You got to have balance. You have to have, do you have a lot of light? Do you have no light? Do I have to add the light? And what kind of light? What's the use of the room? These are things that legitimately come into play for when you're doing a design. Those shows never show that. They may explain a few things, but it's all based on the TV and what's good TV. That's really what I'm trying to say. It sounds all negative, but they're fun. I like to see what they come up with, but there's just because they're showing you one way, there's also 3-4 other ways it could be done.
Sure.
Depends on the space, what the needs of the client are. Okay. And I'll tell you, I use this example for a lot of people when they say, well, how do you work? Okay. Say I have a client who's a basketball player and he's a really tall guy, because that's a normal for a basketball player. Like he's 8 feet high. Okay. And I'm 5'2". He wants a basketball court in his living room. Well, first of all, it's his space, so he gets to have that. And then I'm going to look at his house. Let's say he's doing it in his house in his living room. Okay, if he has high enough ceilings, we can do that. If he doesn't, I'm going to let him know that. That's not going to work. I am not a basketball player. It wouldn't even remotely occur to me to want that in my living room.
Right.
2 different clients, 2 different needs. You see what I'm saying? Those are extreme examples. Right. You have to design for the client, not for your taste or whatever. But there are things that are just obvious. If you want a basketball court in your living room, you better have high ceilings. And if you don't have them, come on, let's talk about making it outside. You know what I mean? It's not reasonable. You have to have a certain amount of feet and, to accommodate that. So.
Now, one of the things you said, though, was that, 2008 was not a good time. I'm sure
for
a lot of people, especially in your industry, I'm sure that's the case probably later on. I'm sure it hasn't rebounded where everything's flowers and daisies.
No.
How have you not let that stop you, though, from doing this, from doing what you're passionate about?
I have friends that are giving me the talk, it's time to let your dreams go. It's time to, yeah. I mean, they don't say it exactly that way, but you don't have to hit me on the head with a brick. I get it. I should be taking a job. Actually, I had one friend that said that to me. Most people at this point would be taking a job at, I don't know, what's a big firm, Comcast, for customer service, person. And you can still do your interior design thing on the side. And I'm like, that's a hobby. That's not a business. I don't know how to do anything else. And yeah, there's rough times. I'm not going to stop. What I learned, and I'll tell you this story real quick. I don't know how much time we have, but
we have time.
Okay. So I was, been going through a rough time the last couple of years. I had an interview. I thought, okay, well, I'll take a job with someone. I have worked for other people, so I don't have a problem being an employee. I just want to be in my industry.
Sure.
So I got an interview with a really well-known designer in Philly. I was out of my mind with excitement. Okay. I couldn't wait. I was working 2 hours away for a company I was not happy in, still doing interior design, but they were just not a great company. So I was not, plus 2-hour drive. I was miserable. So this was like coming home, I was going to be, I'm about maybe 10, 15 minutes outside of Philly. So I felt very excited about that. So I go to the interview, I walk in the door and I knew within seconds I didn't belong there. I didn't know why, but it kind of freaked me out.
That's some weird little vibe.
It was a weird empathic thing. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, I don't belong here. But okay, I went through the interview. She offered me the job, but she offered me a job in production. So production is when you're younger and you don't really, you don't have a lot of years of experience and not as creative. I realized I showed her the wrong stuff. So some of that was on me. I didn't show her very creative stuff because I hadn't really been doing a lot of creative stuff lately. I'd just been doing more production work. So she said, if you have anything else to show me, send it to me. But otherwise, that's what I'm going to offer you. Okay, great. That didn't bother me as much, but I left and I got into my car and I had myself a good cry. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I just got offered a job in one of the most prestigious design firms in Philadelphia. You love this, this person has a good rap. What's wrong? You could start tomorrow kind of thing. And I calmed down. I sat in the parking lot for a good 15 minutes, just, really let it go. I'm like, all right, what's wrong with me? I knew the minute I walked in that door, something was wrong. I didn't belong there. I didn't know why. And then I really gave myself a good talking to and really looked inside, and it came to me and I understood what was going on. She was at the same level. I was at the same level as her in terms of skill set and ability. We're at the same level. I just wasn't at her success. She's very successful, very well known. I'm not going to say her name, but she's got a good rap, good work, and most people would kill to work for her, And I realized the problem is it wasn't that I wasn't at her success. That's all. But I was at her level. I'm like, so should I do it? Should I give it up? Like, nope, I didn't take the job. And because I felt like it would just be going for one more place, doing doing another stint at a place that wasn't for me, wasn't for my own way of doing things. I'm a good designer, and I really feel like I could give my clients what they need. It's just been rough. That's all, marketing wise and jobs, but it has nothing to do with my skill set. And I have to keep reminding myself that. So your whole show is about chasing your dreams. I don't know that I'm chasing them anymore. I'm just trying to maintain and hold on and not get distracted and pulled away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're still paddling.
Yeah. It's not a negative thing. I believe in myself. I don't think I'd be happy doing anything else. I really don't.
That's wise, though. I mean, there's wisdom in the fact that you've realized that about your circumstance. Because if you had taken that job, I probably would have been a step back for you, and mentally,
I feel that. I really did. I got that loud and clear.
Yeah.
And I had to really sit and think long and hard. And I'm like, you're not happy in the job you're in now because you're driving 2 hours and they're really not. They just were not nice people. Okay. They were really bad bosses. So that was one thing. But honestly, I just really, I had to get honest with myself. I was like, what's the deal? And I realized that's what it was. It was just, you aren't at the success, but it has nothing to do with your ability. You just have to figure out a way to do this. That's all. And this is not where you're going to do this. So it kind of made me feel better because, I really got clear on what I know and what I don't know about myself and, what I'm looking for. So that's it. That's my spiel,
It sounds easy, right? When you say it, I got to say, it sounds like, obvious, but a lot of people struggle with that. In the fact that you got a vibe just from getting there. I mean, oftentimes people will see that someone else in a similar lane further ahead doing better and be like, you know what? One, envious of that. Two, maybe it'll work for me if I work for them. And
because listen, any intelligent person, which I consider myself intelligent, it's not a terrible thing if you go into a job, even if it's not in your industry or what you're good at, because you should always take away. There's always a learning opportunity. Everything I've ever done in my life informs my interior design self thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just if that's not where you belong. I guess it's good to eat and have a roof over your head and that, you're right. Things have to happen that way. But I'm too old to do that now. I don't want to work 5 jobs,
Yeah.
And the way things are in this economy, you got to do it. You got to have what they call multiple streams of income. So I thought about that. I said I could take this job and still do my own thing, but I don't think with her I could have done that. So it would have been, I would have been stuck in production, which means you would have been at that computer from like 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, and you wouldn't be doing anything else. That is not the life I want to lead. I did that already. I did those years, I put my time in like that. And just got to work it out. That's all. I'm pretty confident because I'm not 21 anymore. At 21, I wasn't this confident. I didn't know that much about myself.
But I think there's a reason for that, right? There's experience for you and there's self-awareness. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking that job if you're aware of why you're taking it.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing, other things that have nothing to do with my interior designs life and just to make money. We all do it, again, multiple streams. I get it. But I think it has to support my life. I don't think I could go into some factory or work at Comcast and customer service. I don't know. I mean, I have a friend who does that Legal Shield, have you heard of that?
Is that like LegalZoom?
Maybe. It's like Amway, where it's multi-level selling. So they asked me, they kept coming out, friends of mine were doing it and they kept coming after me. They, multiple streams. Yeah, but I don't support it. So the point is I can't do things that I don't believe in. And, maybe I'm going to starve a little bit more than other people, but I can't, I'm not a salesperson. And I know everybody sells their stuff. Yeah. When I'm selling my work, my stuff, I'm in it 110%, all in, no doubt about it, because I believe in what I'm doing.
Right. You stand behind it.
Yeah. And even if I've made a mistake, I know how to fix it or I'll attempt to fix it or I'll do what I have to do. But I don't want to sell other people's stuff because unless I believe in it, I don't know. Like at that conference, I met one of these guys who's doing, it's like a tiny house. It's a tiny office. Oh gosh, what's his name? Oh, that's bad because I really like him. I'm sorry. If you're listening to this, I really apologize. I can't remember his name, but he's doing like mobile offices, like little, like tiny houses, but tiny offices. I love it, love it, love it. And I said, whatever I can do to help you, because I support it. I totally believe in it. I said, in fact, if there's any possibility that I could do some design work for you, please let me know. I would love to get involved because I totally buy into this. Okay. And I think it's a good way to go for people who can't afford a full office or they might be, they need to be mobile. I think it's a fabulous idea. I feel bad that I can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It'll come to you like in a few moments, I'm sure. So I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a bucket list kind of project you would want to work on that you haven't hit yet, but maybe down the road it might happen, but it's one of those things you wish you could do?
So much.
Yeah? Can you give us an example?
There's just so many things I haven't done. I'd like to, well, I don't know did I tell you this, that we moved into an RV?
No.
Okay. So one of my goals was to downsize, and it's not because I'm this minimalist or, and I do believe in like reducing my carbon footprint, but the fact is that if you're in an RV, you're mobile. So I don't know how much of that is reducing your carbon footprint, but I just wanted to do it for a couple of years. I wanted to be on the road. I wanted to change my life. And so, we got rid of the house, and my daughter's 24 and she lives with me, and we live well together. So I don't think you can do this with somebody you don't like or you don't get along with. So, cause it's living small. And we live in an RV right now, and I'm ready to go at a moment's notice. See, the idea is the kind of work I do, like say it's a hotel. Well, none of us who do hotel work or restaurants or big corporate buildings, we don't necessarily always live near where the projects are. It's not a requirement of what we do, because that's what they make planes and trains and cars for. You know what I mean? You can go to the property, and I've done this before, where you go to the property, you take your measurements, you have your meetings with the teams, whatever. Then you go back to your office and you do the work. And you may have to go out there one or two more times, whatever. But yes, people travel, especially people who do hotels. They travel all over the world. It's very common for design. Architects, it's very common. So I was kind of trying to put my life together, or, guide my life into that. So this is sort of on the bucket list of, so I get a hotel out in the middle of the country somewhere, we get in the RV and we go, and we can stay there for a little while, and then we go to the next job, or we just go live different places. And I can still do what I do because they still make cars, planes, and trains. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. That sounds fun.
Yeah. That's my goal. So we did it. We're living in the RV. I'm kind of excited. People are like, why? I'm like, I love it. I do not miss my stuff at all. I thought I was going to miss my stuff.
I'm impressed that you don't miss your stuff. I mean, I would think I would miss my stuff.
Nope. you think you will, but you don't. We are both like to cook. That's the only thing I legitimately miss. So the bucket list is to get maybe a nicer looking kitchen in my RV, but because it is a small situation. But we've made some accommodations. I am, after all, a very good interior designer, so we change things. Maybe I miss my little comfy lounge chair in my bedroom, but you know what? I gave up a whole other stuff for that, so I'll get over it. No, I really, I feel like if you're going to talk about it, just do it already, Well, so
you did
it. I did it.
You did it.
I know. A lot of my friends think I'm absolutely crazy. Like, why did you do that? Because I wanted to.
And that's all that matters, truly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, Staci, I loved having you on the show, but before I let you go, I have to ask, what is one thing you would tell or recommend a dream chaser do in chasing their dreams?
If you're going to chase your dreams, you really, really, and I'll put it in big fat capital letters, you really have to be committed to it, because there's going to be so many things coming at you that are going to make you question whether this is the right path, or is it good enough, or, like I have a workshop I'm trying to develop, because I really believe that the DIYers, the HGTV people, they are here to stay, and for me to ignore them is insane. So how do I work with them? So I developed a workshop. I really, really believe in it, and I know it's been hard to get it off the ground, and I'm still working on it, but I'm not giving up, because I really believe it's going to help bridge designers and HGTV DIYers. You know what a DIYer is, right?
Do-it-yourselfers.
Yeah. And they are here. It's a whole industry. You cannot ignore it. So I think if you're going to chase your dream, you really, really need to be fully committed. It can't be a hobby. You can have it as a hobby, but then that's not really chasing a dream. You want to do something, you better be prepared to not have people support you and try to talk you out of it, be negative about it, because people will do that. Hold on and do your research. Definitely do your research. But if you get good at what you're doing, I've had almost 40 years to get good at it. So I'm not going anywhere. Just be good at it, be confident in your skill set, and, do it with integrity, work from integrity, a place of integrity, because that's what you're taking to the grave with you. You're not taking anything else. I don't care how much money you have, how cool your RV is or your car is or whatever. You're not taking any of that to the grave. The thing you're taking to the grave, I really truly believe this, is how you lived your life, the integrity. And that's how people will remember you. So work your life that way. That's what I'm trying to do. And it's not, all woo-woo. It's really how I feel.
No, I love it. I love it. And that's some great advice for everyone, especially live your life with integrity, guys.
Yeah. Get good at what you do and live it with integrity, because that's it. It's all on you. When you peel all the other stuff away, that's what's left.
Well, Staci, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing your story. I loved it.
Thank you. I really enjoyed talking with you.
And Dream Chasers, that was Staci Greenberg. What an awesome story. I've honestly, first interior designer to talk to, and I loved every minute of it. And hopefully you guys learned something too, because she was full of great advice. Okay. So you can learn more about Staci and what she's doing over on the show notes page at chasingdreamshq.com/episode 112. That's episode 112. Till next time, Dream Chasers, keep chasing.
Thank you so much for listening to Chasing Dreams. Amy would love to connect with you and hear all about your pursuit of chasing your dreams. Connect with her on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram via @ChasingDreamsHQ. Or you can find Amy on Twitter @AmyJ21. That's AIMEEJ21. Be sure to visit headquarters over at ChasingDreamsHQ.com for more inspiration, motivation, and resources to help with your own dream chase. We hope you'll join Amy next week, and until then, keep chasing.